Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Passionate Teachers Group. And before we will start with module 4, let me request you to all those who have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do so and refer it to your other friends also. And please like the video if you find it useful. Today we will be starting with module 4, which is the continuation of the Python programming fundamentals. In the previous video we have explored the different modes, interactive mode and shell mode, which is available with the IDLE of Python. And we have also executed some of the commands in the shell mode. So we will be continuing with the same. So you can see I am on my shell mode now. Now in my shell mode, if you remember, if I enter 2 plus 3, so it is going to give me the addition of two numbers, two integers basically. Now let's say I want to use this value 5, which is the output, and I want to add another 10 into this output. So what I can do is I can use underscore sign with plus and I can add 10 into it. So you can see it is going to give me 15. Now let's say now again I am using the same output and I am adding another 20 to it. So it is giving me 35. But let's say now I want to use the 5, which was the previous output, or let's say I want to use this 2 or 3. So if I want to use these outputs, so I have no ways that I can use these outputs which are coming in here. Now it is easy to say that you can type in those numbers, but when we are talking about like a programmer, in that case we need to store these values somewhere. It is just like in your mathematics when there are certain questions come to you, so you assume the values. You say let x is equal to so and so, y equals to so and so, and using those x and y's then you put all your operators and execute your final answer. The same is here. So basically when I want to add 2 or 3, so let's say I want to store these 2 and 3 to some values first. So let's say I am saying x equals to 2. So the moment I say x equals to 2, that means I am assigning this value 2 to this variable x. Now I have just used a term called variable. Now what is a variable? So variable is nothing but it is like a container that stores value that can be accessed or can be changed also within the program. So when I am saying x equal to 2, so here this equal to sign actually is nothing but a assignment operator which is assigning the value 2, integer value 2 to my variable with name x, right? So the moment I say, so you see when I have pressed enter, there is no output. Why? Because I have just assigned the value to x, but I haven't printed its value. So if I will say y equals to 3, and then I am saying so, and now what I am doing is I am saying x plus y. So it is showing me answer 5. Now if I want to capture this value output 5 in some other variable, then I can say, let's say z equals to x plus y. Now you can see when I say print, or I can directly press z, write z also the way I have done for x and y. So both ways it works. So the moment I say z equal to x and y, so z has now the value of x plus y. Now these three values x, y and z, x with value 2, y with value 3 and z with value 5 can be called or used throughout this shell command anywhere. So if let's say I want print z multiply by 10, so I get the value. So that means when I am saying x, so that means what actually I am doing, I am creating, so when I am saying this, so I am creating a container with name x, I am creating another variable container with name y, and I am putting the values here. In x I am putting a value 2, and in y I am putting a value 3, and then in the z variable, another container which I have taken, I have given it a value as z, and what I am doing is I am adding the value of these two here in z. You can see. So basically this is what is been happening, and it is giving me 5. Now I can use these three values whenever required. So our computer memory is also divided in form of grids. Now if I want to refer to a particular place in my memory, I need to give it a name. Otherwise, how will I know that where is 2 stored and where is 3 stored? So as a programmer, it is not my job to know that in the memory where these values are being stored. But as a programmer, I may need to refer to these values later on. Suppose I am storing the salary of some employee and I need to refer to that salary. How will I refer it? So I should be having some way to call or to name. So it's just like you have 30 students in a class, and if those 30 students, they all are same. So if a teacher wants to call a particular child from her class, so she need to know the name of that child so that that particular child should come. So the same way here, in the computer memory, I am just giving the name to those particular values which I am storing in my memory, and whenever I want it, I am just calling out the name of that variable. So for example, now I want to use value 2. So what I just need to do is, I know that 2 is stored with the name x. So I just simply say that x equals to x plus 20. So what I have actually done, now if I say this time, if I say x, so you can see the value is being changed. So as I told you that variables are those container whose value not I can only access, but I can change it during the program. Now whenever I will say use the value of x, it always use the value 22 instead of 2. So now if I say z equals to x plus y, so and then I say z, so you can see this time it is 25, whereas earlier it was 5, because my z because my x value has become 22 and my y was 3, so 22 plus 3 was 25. I hope I am clear with this part. Let's move on to next thing now. Okay, so this is, now we understood that what is a variable. Now quickly understand that variable has, if I am talking about variable, it has 3 components associated with it. So what are those 3 components? One is the identity of the variable, another is the value of the variable, and the third is the type of the variable. Now type means data type. Now what is a data type? Data type means it is going to decide the behavior of that variable. Like if I am saying, as I told you in the previous program, that if I am saying a equals to hello, and I am sorry, as I told you last time, that all the string values should be in the quotes. So I have to write the quote. So the moment I say this, now it is acceptable. So if I am saying a into 3, this is allowed. But if I say a minus 3, it is not allowed. Why? Because right now a has got a string value, and there are certain behavior related to this string, that on string I can do the multiplication, which is repetition. If you remember, I have explained this in the previous video, whereas minus is not allowed with the strings. However, if I am saying x, which is my integer value, if I am saying x into 3, this is allowed, and if I am saying x minus 3, this is also allowed. Why? Because the data type of x is a integer, because it is storing a integer value, and data type of a is a string, because it is storing a string value. So that's another beauty of Python language. If I am talking about some other language, I have to declare deliberately that the variable which I am going to create should be having what kind of data type. Whereas in Python is an intelligent language, so it automatically, the moment I save the data inside that variable, it automatically knows that this variable is of which data type. So for example, here a is of string data type, whereas x is of integer data type. So if I want to know that what is the data type of this x or a, as I told you, x is an integer and a is a string, how do I get to know here? So what I can do is, I can just simply use a built-in function. Now what are functions? This we are going to do in the in the coming classes, but here you just need to understand that this type is a keyword here and it always has a value inside the brackets. Now I am passing the variable name inside the bracket and it is going to tell me the data type associated with this variable. So you can see it is showing me int, and if I say type and then I am saying a, so it is going to tell me it's a string data type. So I hope the data type is clear to you. Now the next component which is associated with a variable is its identity. So identity means in the memory, as I told you, the moment we say x equal to 2, so in the computer memory it's occupies a particular place. Basically what it does is, in the memory wherever I have written 2, so this container where I have written 2, so the variable x which I have given the name, this x is actually pointing to this 2 now. The same way, if I am writing y equals to 3, so in the memory the 3 is being written and then this variable y is actually pointing to this 3, right? So how do I know that what is the identity, what is the address of that place? So for that there is another keyword which is called id, and in brackets I have to pass the value of the variable. So it is showing me, so you know that memory in the computer is in the numbers, so it is showing me that number. And if I try to check it for a, so it must be a different one. Now let me tell you another beautiful concept of Python here is, let's say I declare another variable, say w equals to 2. Now as I told you, the moment I associate a variable with integer, so here as you can see that the x is pointing to 2. The moment I say w equal to 2, so there is another variable which is associated with 2 and it is also pointing to this one. So when I say w equal to 2, so this w now is again pointing to this, whereas in the other languages whenever we are declaring multiple variables, they all are occupying different memory spaces, whereas in Python it's not like that. So if I say, so ideally if they both are been pointing to a same memory location, then their memory location should be same. So let us check if it is same or not. So I am just going here and I am saying id of w. So if you will notice, these both are different. The reason being is, if you remember, we have updated the value of x to 22. So right now x is not pointing to 2 but to 22. Now to check the same thing, what I do is I make another variable, let's say v equals to 2. Now if you will see this v, now instead of this x, if I will say, so instead of this x now, so now it's not x which is pointing to 2 because x has a different value which is 22, but I have made another variable which is called v and pointing to the same memory location. So if I say id of v, so ideally it should be same as w. So if you will notice that the memory address of w and memory address of v is same, whereas x has got value 22, so it's different. So if I declare another variable, say m equal to 22, and then I say id of m, then if you will notice x and m are now same because they both are been pointing to a same integer. So I hope this concept is clear that in Python, when you are declaring a variable with certain values, so they don't create multiple values in the memory and occupy the memory space unnecessarily, but they are pointing to that same integer in that case. Now the third thing which I told you, the third component which is associated with variable is your value. Now value we already have done that. If I am saying m equal to 22, so 22 is the value which is associated with m. So the moment I say m, it is going to show me the value. If I am saying v, it is going to show me the value of v. So these three things are associated with it. Now there are certain naming conventions which you follow with variable names. That means there are certain rules when you declare a variable and you give it a name. Now please let us understand that I can give any name to the variable. Even if you are using your own name, that could be a variable name. But it is always suggested to use the sensible variable names, because in the longer programs, when you are been calling those variables, it should be easy to relate that which variable you are referring to. Now a variable name must start with an alphabet. That's a must thing. You cannot start it with a number or an underscore. So, and the only one special character which is allowed in the variable names are underscore. A variable name cannot contain spaces. Then a variable name can contain only number of letters, digits and underscore. So this is I have just told you. So either letters ABC or digits 0 to 9 or underscore is allowed, but this digit could not be the first character of the variable name. So it cannot start with a digit. It could be either start with a letter or a underscore. No other character apart from these are allowed. A Python keyword cannot be used as a variable name. Now this is again a must thing. We know that print we are using, so print it is not allowed. So if I am using the variable name as print, it is not allowed. Whereas if I am giving the variable name as capital PRINT, this is allowed because the keyword in Python is with the small p. So all the letters in the print is small when we are using the Python. So if you refer to here, so if I am using print, so you can see the print is all small. So this is a keyword print which is in the purple color. Whereas if I write print, capital print, it is not a keyword, and if I try to do so, it will give me an error. Then the next is it is suggestible to give meaningful variable names like speed, maths marks, etc. instead of AB or random names like your own name, because that does not make any sense. Now let us quickly do a quick worksheet, a small exercise. So let us quickly do whether this variable name is valid or not. If I am writing AB23, so yes, it is valid. The reason is because it is starting with an alphabet. So this is allowed, followed by numbers. So as I told you, numbers and characters both are allowed. Roll hash number, no, it is not. Why? The reason is because this hashtag is not allowed in the variable names. Any special characters is not allowed except for underscore. Plan underscore 23, yes, it is allowed. Why? Because I have used the underscore and it is starting with the alphabet. Plan 2, yes, again it is allowed because it's starting with the alphabet followed by a number. That is allowed. 2 plan, no, because it is starting with a number. Then D dot O dot B, no. Why? Because it is using the special character which is a dot. Then math mark, yes, it is very much correct because I am just using the alphabets. Math space marks, no, because spaces are not allowed in the variable names. While, yes, this is allowed because W is capital here and it's not a keyword. So this is allowed, yes. Whereas the other one, which is small WHILE, this is not allowed because it's a keyword. This you are going to learn in your later classes, that what does this while do in Python. So please like the video if you are finding it useful, and if there are any queries, please post it in your comment box. Thank you.